What's up? I'm Captain Mel Asylum, and here's another sip of Galactic Tea. Today's Galactic Tea, The Ark. This one's brought to us by the Sci-Fi Queens. They do every other Friday live on YouTube, and sometimes they give book reviews, sometimes they give movie reviews, TV show reviews, and also talk about women in science, which is really cool and inspiring, actually. So I decided to make my playlist based on make my watch list based on uh, some of the reviews that we got from the Sci-Fi Queen. So thank you so much. Uh, the Ark was a lot of fun and quite addictive for me. It's kind of like a combination of Star Trek and Babylon 5 without being serious, but also being serious. No and military, no sci-fi. So how is it like Babylon 5? Well, let me tell you. Some of the, you know how Stargate kind of has that like remnants of Star Trek and Babylon 5 and Star Wars maybe mixed in with what they're doing. That's kind of like that's what this was. It felt like it. Like someone was a really big fan of Star Trek and decided to make another show, but very much not in the way of Orville. It's also very much more of a soap opera than even Deep Space Nine. Like Deep Space Nine, though it is a soap opera, it is sci-fi's first soap opera. It didn't really feel as much as a soap opera like this was. Like the cheesy soap operas from the 80s and the 90s where there's this random issues and you can't go 5 minutes without having somebody have a new issue that completely changes everything, and some of them are so completely ridiculous, and you can even do that better with a sci-fi show because you got things like clones and time distortions and people in stasis pods, and it's not just a coma. He woke up from a coma or amnesia or blah blah blah. No, like that's a whole nother person, but they have the same body. Y'all now have this other relationship going on that's separate from what everybody else, because y'all were in some type of time dilation now. It I think it does a good job of doing that, and it's fun and interesting, and they never Deus Ex Machina, despite the fact that so many random crazy things are happening. It's not so random that it's like out of the freaking blue or out of space. It is in outer space. The progression is quite logical for a lot of things. I love the basic science ideas that they give the geniuses of the crew, even though all of the head staff are dead. Like they shouldn't even be awake. They're supposed to be in stasis until they get to the new M-class planet, but something happens and they all have to get out, which kills the head crew. So now they all have to figure things out. This is like basically lower decks with no command. So, so they're not as professional, kind of like in Starfleet where they're like super professional and they're trying to do good for the head command that they look up to and stuff. No, they did. Like they're just trying to do their best. The some of the science stuff that, like I said, some of the science things that make the geniuses smarter than the rest of the crew, to me, seem kind of ridiculous. It's like, oh well, if we only have this much food to last us so long, and we need our food to last us longer, why don't we start the cultural projects now so we can have food to eat? And some dude is like really upset about this. Like, how dare you plant food for us to eat when we don't have any food? Because there's a water shortage. And I'm like, don't y'all cycle the water? But then so much water is going to be cycled through the plants, and there's an issue that builds up to eventually later where they have to avoid an asteroid they pass it, and somehow then the genius girl on the station, on the ship, yeah, has to tell the new command crew that it's a comet and not an asteroid. And they're like, okay, that's interesting. Like, you have a water shortage and you don't realize that the comet is. She's like, it has a tail. That means it's a comet. Like, and they're just looking at her. She's like, it's made of ice. And they're like, oh. Like, I was going to say my engineer knows that, but my engineer is kind of a genius. So, like, it's not the fact that he's a 10-year-old that he knows that. It's like, I thought that was like third, fourth. Like, by the time you finish elementary school, you should know that. And the fact that this takes place 100 years in the future, where humans are, their goal is to go into outer space. How do you not know basic elementary stuff about astro science? Like, okay, 4 out of 5 teacups, because I'm kind of addicted to this show. There's no reason for me to not to give it a 5. I think it's not so perfect. I think the science thing is kind of throwing me off a little bit. And even though the ridiculousness of um, the crazy stuff that they throw at you every 5 seconds is, well, maybe not 5 seconds, every 5 minutes is a new issue that they have to deal with. Out of the last issue that they dealt with, they do a good job of not bringing up any Deus Ex Machinas from it, because I notice, like, if it's craziness, I'm looking for some craziness to come out of the blue. Like, why are they doing that? Um, I guess some other people may not see it that way, but maybe I just understand some things. Um, I love the example of the sci-fi example of the narcissistic mother, putting. I mean, it's terrible, but I think it's good that we have these examples for people to see. And I guess a problem with it is that people probably don't take it seriously because it is sci-fi. Um, for people who have narcissistic parents who control them, having nanoids in their body that you can click that child and be and have control over them sounds about right. And then it's not just with her child, and then she put her child in danger to save her own life, which stereotypically you would think that a mother would put their life before the life of their child, but she actually uses her child's life to possibly extend her own. She doesn't like life in general. Like, the fact that she's commanding another arc is insane. It's but then it's not so insane when you think about or the stereotypical narcissistic personality where they need to have people to control. So her needing to have an arc where she's bringing all these people to safety, and them needing to see her as their savior makes complete sense. She's not saving them to help them. She's saving them for supply. So, if you've enjoyed this, thank you so much. I hope you come back, and you can check out the Voices in Hyperspace. Don't forget to go follow the Sci-Fi Queens, because they're being royal about bringing us to sci-fi, and we need more perspectives on science fiction. There are a lot of people with this similar perspectives that are being very loud about their about their perspectives on science fiction or geekness in general. And other voices are just as important, probably even more. So if you like the support, you can click subscribe. You can find us. And I'm Mel Asylum. And you all stay safe. Bye.